Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to discuss and demonstrate on the recovery database. What is the purpose and what is the situation exactly where we use the recovery database or take help from the recovery database. So the exact main motive of doing the recovery database is to reduce the amount of downtime in any disaster situation. So this happens whenever there is a disaster happened on the production database, and the production database is either beyond repair, or if you perform a recovery on that database, the production one, it is going to take a lot of time to get recovered. So in this demonstration, I'll give you an example of such situation, not by actually getting an unrecoverable database, but uh, making thing as we want. Okay, so before we could start, those who have not subscribed to my channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and do remember to press the bell icon so that whenever I post any video, you see it and you are notified. So I'll not take much of your time, and I'll directly take you to the Exchange server. This is my Exchange server, and I have a database wherein users are currently connected, and they are also able to send and receive emails. So I'm quickly going to perform a test email, send a test email, and see if it works. There we go. So currently the email functionality for all the users is properly working. And let's say, for example, if any disaster situation, anything unexpected happens to this particular database, which is the current production database, how do we overcome that situation with a minimal downtime, like, and less downtime? How do we make it productional? So I'm going to purposely dismount this database, the production one, to reproduce the situation. Git dash. I will have to copy this database name in order to dismount it. So I've just ran this command to dismount the database. I'll select the option select yes to all, so that the database is dismounted, and I'll also make sure that the information store does not mount this database automatically. So to make sure that, we need to go to the maintenance tab and make sure this option, which is do not mount this database at startup, is checked. So when this option is checked on any particular database, the store will not attempt to mount this database. So let's assume that the current production database is having problem. It is in a situation where we won't be able to mount it, neither will we be able to get it into a good state or a clean state uh, in the minimum downtime. So in such situation, what we do is we mount this particular database with a blank EDB file that will make the email flow up and running, and the users will be able to send and receive new emails. However, there is a drawback of this situation. All the users in the domain that are using the exchange services and sending and receiving emails, they won't be having access to their existing data as well as any inbox or Outlook rule, because that goes away with the existing profile that was configured with the existing database and its actual property or the signature. So if I now go ahead and mount this database, it will give us a warning. That is the warning. You guys can pause the video and go through it and understand what it is saying. So just for the sake of explanation, I'll read the first line, which is at least one of this store database file is missing. Mounting the store will force the creation of an empty database. That's what we want. We want to mount this particular database with a blank EDB file so that the users are able to send and receive emails. As I said, users won't be having access to their historic data as well as any inbox or the Outlook rule created. So it says trying to connect, because the thing is, this particular mailbox is currently looking for a database that we had earlier with its own signature. So to achieve this, we need to go to the control panel and create a new local profile for the user. And in the control panel, to create a new profile, we need to go to this mail option and then go to show profile. If you want, you can delete this one or else simply add a new one. I'll name it as an administrator. It will auto discover with the logged in user credentials, and I'll check this option so that it prompts for the Outlook profile to be used. So as I have mentioned earlier that once we mount a blank EDB file, to reduce the amount of downtime, users will no longer have access to their historic data. However, they should be able to send and receive new emails. So user should be able to receive the email. It was able to send. I'm waiting for it to be delivered. There we go. So that comes through. That means the email flow from this point on will be working with the new EDB file. However, no existing data or the historic data will be accessible. Neither any outbox rule. So now we'll see how do we use the existing EDB file. This could be from the backup as well, because there are chances that the production database file may become unrecoverable, or it may go beyond repair. So in such scenario, we take help from the recovery database. And first of all, we need to know how do we create a recovery database. So the command for same is I had created a database with name RDB01. I don't need them, so So although I have I've successfully created this particular database, I won't be having any EDB file associated with that. So in order for us to create a RDB file and the database structure, we need to mandatorily mount and dismount this database. So our first step would be to mount this database. I actually forgot to add a switch into the command I have ran, so apologize. I'll just rerun this command with a different name. So this is very important command that needs to be added to the actual creating command. Unless and until we specify this hyphen recovery switch, it will not be a recovery database, it will be a normal production database. So you guys can see the difference. The recovery type of the earlier database we created is false, but for this one, as we have added this recovery switch, is true. So that means this particular database right here, RDB001, can only be used for recovery purposes, not for production purposes. So uh, so as I mentioned earlier, unless and until we mount this database that we have created, it is not going to prepare the B tree structure or the database file. So we will have to mandatorily mount and dismount this database once. So that has been mounted now. Let me just dismount it and get rid of all these files that are not required. And now very important part of this recovery database is to bring the EDB file that was mounted as a production EDB file to this location. So where we get that file, either from the backup or from the existing database location. So in my scenario, it is the by default location, the default location. However, I do have a temp folder in the database directory. Now, I would like to ask you guys a question about the EDB file. So think carefully and try to answer it to yourself, so that you are getting the concept of RDB or normal database mounting process. I have created this database with the name RDB001, and the EDB file I have restored from the backup, or I have brought it from the production location, has this name. So if I now go ahead and try to mount that recovery database, will it use this particular EDB file with a different name, or is it going to create a different one as per its requirement? You guys can pause the video, and I'll straight away go to the answer. The answer would be, it will create a new file. It won't use this file. It will create a new file with its database name, and this file will no longer be usable. Bringing this file to this location will not make any sense. So just to make sure that we are using a proper EDB file for the RDB, we need to rename it to the name same as the RDB, the recovery database name. Now we have just copied over the production file which had all the data in it, and will now mount the recovery database. I'm sorry. So again, the command for that would be mount-database and identity. Well, that was not mounted. I'll again give it a try after running the above command, and let's see how it goes. It should be mounted. There we go. So I forgot to add this, enable this option on the recovery database property which says allow file restore, because whenever we try to mount any particular database, be it the production database or be it the recovery database, since we are using a different EDB file with a different signature or all the different identity from that of the production one, the actual one, so it is not going to mount. It may give us such errors. So for that we enable this option, we check this option on the database property, and we try to mount it. Now if I go ahead and run the command to see if the databases are mounted, it should give us true. Now the database has been mounted in recovery database. Now comes the most important thing. How do we merge the email data of the users, the end users, in bulk? Okay, so we have these emails. I'll send a couple of more emails. I've just sent a couple of emails, and both these emails came through. So this is the data that I have after the disaster happened, and then now we'll try to find out a command that can merge all the data that the existing production EDB file had to the new EDB file that has been mounted with a blank file with no data in it. So by the time I prepare the command, I'll pause the video and I will come back. So guys, I've just got this command from a Microsoft document that lets us merge the data in bulk for all the mailboxes that we have. For your reference, I'll add this URL or the link for the command in the description of this video, you guys can make a note of this command and run it whenever you practice the merge process using the RDB. So that's very simple command. We just need to replace the values. So the recovery database name is RDB001. Again, the recovery database will be used as the source database as well. We don't have to worry about the target database because it is going to match the user's mailbox display name with target mailbox display name. So whatever the user's display name it has in the EDB file, the RDB file, it will match with the target display name regardless of any production database it is on, and then it will try to merge all the data. So if I run this command, it should initiate all the merge request, and for those it cannot find, it will simply generate either the warnings or the errors like this. Started giving us the mailbox restore request status in the exchange control panel. Let's quickly go back here to the user's profile and see if the data started getting merged to the new account. So this is the first way we can check the status. For the administrator, we can run this command get dash mailbox restore request, pipe it with again the same command get dash mailbox restore request statistics. So the same command will be twice with separated by the pipe, and then additionally the second command will have the statistics string added. So if we run this command, it will real time show us the current status of the data being merged to the current mailboxes. There's the status of current merge process. So earlier this administrator account had only 3 emails that we have tested for testing purposes, and now it has started merging all the data that the administrator account had. So guys, this is how it goes, the recovery database, and this is how we recover the data in some disaster situation, and we also reduce the amount of downtime. However, at a certain level the users are impacted, but eventually the users they do get their data, the important data. So there are two things that they need to do. First is forget about the existing Outlook rule, and the other one is to create the new Outlook profile. So this was all about how do we use the recovery database and how do we recover or merge the data using the recovery database. I'll keep an eye on it unless it completes, and by that time I'll take your leave, and I'll come up with the next video soon. Till that time, please do share my videos, give it a thumbs up, and if you have any feedbacks and suggestions, do let me know in the comment section below. And thank you so much for watching my channel, and bye bye.